my plea is, and I would say this is debatable, but I'm debatably the best player in franchise history. I'm in the conversation for sure.
That was awesome.
What's not debatable is I'm the longest tenured Packer in history. Like, you can debate the first part, obviously. Bart, Brett, a number of names have been incredible.
Whoa.
But you can't debate anybody's been there longer than I have. And nobody's bled green and gold like me. They want to move on. They don't want me to come back, and that's fine. They're ready to move on with Jordan. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And I think Jordan's going to be a great player. He's a great kid. He had a really good year this year, getting better, on the look team. He's got a bright future in front of him. They got a good young team. But the fact of the matter is, you got a aging, face of the franchise for the last 15 years that it's time to do right by.
Do right by. Do right by. So, one report says that the Packers are not looking for 2 first-round picks. But a PFT report says that they're looking for a first plus. So I guess my question to you, Michael Holley, would be, is this business or personal? What, if any, obligation do the Packers have to arguably the greatest player in franchise history? I say none.
Hey, okay, you can say that. But as I come back to it, it's both. To answer your question, then I'll make my point. It's both business and personal. It's both. So it's not either or. And so the Packers can say, we have no obligation, but Aaron Rodgers, to that clip that we played before we came on, were you saying, hey, you already got somebody new in the house. Well, hey, bro, you ever see Sister Wives? There are multiple women in the house. I ain't trying to do it. But Aaron Rodgers, if he really wants to be petty, I think the Packers have some pettiness in them. Aaron Rodgers has some pettiness in him. And the Jets are just like, we're desperate. Like, hey, we just trying to, hey, it's been a long time since Super Bowl III. We just trying to bring you in. We got your coach here, Nathaniel Hackett. We signed Lazard. We're going to work with you, man, but can we make this happen? So the Jets are really the third party watching this family dispute. And they can't really step in and say, hey, wait a minute, y'all calm down. They have no authority to say that. They're just watching like the rest of us. So the question is, who wins the battle that is both business and personal between the Packers and Aaron Rodgers? The Jets are in there just because. But this is really Rodgers versus the Packers. Who's going to blink first?
It shouldn't be Green Bay. Listen, this is strictly business, man. This is strictly business. If you're the Packers, if you're the Green Bay Packers, and Aaron Rodgers admittedly went into his cave 90% leaning toward retirement.
Right.
Year after year, doesn't know what he wants to do, is complaining about you not doing right by him in one way or the other. If you're the Green Bay Packers, you are under no obligation to just accept whatever the Jets are offering in order to facilitate moving on from Aaron Rodgers. Yes, you would like to move on from Aaron Rodgers, but your primary obligation is to get the most that you can for Aaron Rodgers. Hell, it ain't like they trade him to the Jets because he wants to go to Minnesota, like his predecessor had to take a sojourn in New York before he can get where he really wanted to go. That's cool, Aaron. You want to go to New York. That's great. That's your intention to play for the Jets. It's our intention, says Brian Gutekunst and the Green Bay Packers, to get what we can for this asset.
Okay.
And if we want, we could turn on the Jets and say, okay, you really want Aaron Rodgers, step up to the plate. I'm not saying you mortgage your future, but the Jets have made the mistake because there's another quarterback sitting out there that I haven't read or heard about anybody talking to yet, who's available for a first plus. Who's much younger, but they have made no overtures to him. They went and hired Nathaniel Hackett to where I don't give a damn what Aaron Rodgers says. Unless and until I see Nathaniel Hackett coach apart from Aaron Rodgers and be successful, I don't believe he's a great coach. And yet here go the Jets hiring Nathaniel Hackett, okay? They hired Nathaniel Hackett, whether he had a list or not, whether he had an actual piece of paper or not, okay? They went and signed Alan Lazard. when they ain't need no wide receivers. The last thing the Jets needed to do was spend money at the wide receiver position, and they went and signed Alan Lazard, okay? So the Jets have made their intentions so abundantly clear that they have ceded leverage to the Green Bay Packers in trade negotiations. Now, does Aaron Rodgers have leverage when it comes to this whopping roster bonus due at the beginning of the season?
Damn right he does.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, he does.
But that would be cutting off your nose to spite your face. If you're Aaron Rodgers, you say, okay, I'll just sit here and I'll blow up your cap. Well, then you ain't gonna be playing. Now, if you do play for the Jets, it's gonna be at the beginning of the season, and you're gonna be further compromised. If you're the Jets, to me, it's incumbent upon them to blink because you've gone too far down this path to do anything other than acquire Aaron Rodgers. So I don't believe that the Packers need to acquiesce for the sake of this transaction. It's the Jets who absolutely positively have to step up to the plate because they're the desperate party here. Yeah. More than anybody, they're the desperate party, and they have to say, you know what do you need to make this happen, and make this happen like yesterday, because we have no plan B. Derek Carr's in New Orleans. You clearly don't want to go running back with Zach Wilson. Mike White's in Miami. What is your plan B? What is your alternative?
Mark Jackson's out there, right.
Clearly they're not interested in him. So the Packers know this, and they are under zero obligation to make this easy on the New York Jets. So Aaron, this ain't personal, baby. This is business. You'll get to New York. It is personal. When New York steps up to the plate.
It's personal and business. Now let me say this, because there are a lot of, it's fascinating. I love this. I'm glad it's not my problem. I'm enjoying it. Michael Smith, you know me for a long time. You know what my favorite snack in the world is. So it is appropriate for this situation. Popcorn. I got it. I am ready for this. But I think there are multiple things. First, you said Aaron Rodgers would be cutting off his nose to spite his face. Okay. Yeah. And it wouldn't be the first time. It wouldn't be the first time he did that. It wouldn't be the first time that somebody with an agenda who is smart does something that makes them look stupid. That's what happens when smart people are fueled by agendas.
Tell me about it.
Right. When smart people are fueled by agendas, they say and do stupid things. That's one. But I want to, and I want to get to the Packers point in a second, but I want to go back to the Jets, because it really is Packers versus Rodgers versus Jets. But I want to go back to Jets versus Packers and the various perspectives. The Packers say, we got our quarterback, you don't. We like our young guy. You don't like your young guy. Aaron Rodgers wants to go to you. You want Aaron Rodgers to come. You got Nathaniel Hackett. So you better come correct with the deal. And you know what we can afford to do? Because you're more desperate than we are. We can afford to charge interest. We can afford to be like that little underground. We can be a loan shark. We gonna loan shark your ass.
Or training day. Or training day, we can tax that ass. Okay, we can tax that ass. Yeah,
that's right.
You know what I'm saying? They can, because this ain't no scrub. This is Aaron Rodgers. He's still one of the best quarterbacks in football. You're not gonna get him for cheap.
It's great.
Just because you want him. So if I'm the Packers, just because you want him and he wants you, I'm supposed to just step out the way and say, here, you have him for nothing? Hell no. It's Aaron Rodgers.
And I love our colleagues. I listen to them every morning and read them all the time. You know, Mike Florio, Chris Sims, Pro Football Talk. So somebody told Florio on Pro Football Talk that, that the Packers are being unreasonable.
Not at all.
Yeah.
That's from the Jets' perspective, I'm sure, or the Rodgers' perspective, I'm sure.
and I think even if you can only have Aaron Rodgers and asking for a first or first plus more, look, even if you can only have Aaron Rodgers for a year, I think, let's see, this is what I would do. I would not trade Aaron Rodgers for anything less than a first-round pick.
Right.
I don't care. I don't know. I don't know how long he's going to play. I just know
this. Non-starter.
You're excited. You're excited. Right. You're excited you're going to get Aaron Rodgers because your owner, after the season, said, we got everything else. We're a great quarterback away from being a championship contender. That's what the owner said, just running his mouth. Haven't made the playoffs in forever, and you're a quarterback away. So if you're a quarterback away, and I'm asking you for a first-round pick, you should give me a first-round pick.
Because that first-round pick going to be at the end of the first round. It's going to be at the end of the first round.
How much does it mean to you? Unless they're asking for this year's first. They might be. I don't know. If they're asking for this year's first, yeah, that might be a little high, but I don't know. Maybe you can meet in the middle, as you said. Get a first rounder in 2024. But this is where
there's a compromise to be made somewhere.
Here's the last thing I want to say to you, though. Look, Aaron Rodgers can be very frustrating. But when you said he went into his darkness retreat, 90% sure that he was going to retire, and the Packers. Said, yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. I think he's earned that. I think he's earned the right 16 years, 17 years into his career, 18 years. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think he's earned the right to say at this point, almost 40 years old, a grown man, still playing quarterback, most violent sport in North America. I think he's earned the right to say, wait a minute, I'm going to slow it down. I'm not like Jordan Love, where I just expect to be playing next year and the year after. I'm not like a 30-year-old guy. I've been around for a little bit. I think I've given you some really good years with the Packers. I've been an elite player in the NFL. So wait a minute. Yes, give me my time, baby. Give me my time. Let me cook for a little bit.
But you know what they've also done? They've compensated him handsomely for his services. Yeah, look, I'm not a management guy, but I mean, this idea that somehow, and I knew Rodgers was going to do this. I knew what the holdup was. I knew that the holdup was the teams. I had a feeling that the holdup was the teams, that it wasn't as done as it was portrayed to be. Sounds like it's the farthest thing from done right now. And it can get done at any moment, but as it stands right now, there is no trade in place. There's only a decision by Aaron Rodgers. But this idea that Rodgers somehow, was denied, if he'd have come out of that cave or that hippie mountain or whatever the hell he was, if he'd have come out and been like, you know what, I'm done. I don't want to play anymore. Okay, that would have been his right. So likewise, it's the Packers' right to do what's best for their organization when it comes to this trade. There's precedent here. We saw it before with Brett Favre. It was not in their best interest to trade him to Minnesota, where he wanted to go. So, listen, man, Rodgers may be the most talented player to ever play the position, okay? Patrick Mahomes is like a word. But you sitting right there in greater Boston area. That guy didn't get to leave New England on his own terms, did he? They were ready for him to bounce. Nobody does. Montana did.
How'd that work out?
Marino retired. But no, it didn't work. But my point is, it's like, yo, Aaron, we get that. Like, okay, yes, you've given a lot to this organization. You've gotten a lot back. But at a certain point, people get tired of you sitting on the fence every offseason when they got a guy waiting in the wings. If they decide they're ready to move on, cool. And you said you got no hard feelings. You want to go to the Jets. Let the business take its course. It's not going to happen on your time. It will ultimately happen once the Jets step up to the plate. You go ahead and get the last word, then I'm bringing our guest shortly.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, I will say this, Mike. We talk a lot about relationships on this show. We've talked about relationships this week. You've taken it to a whole different level.
Probably too far.
This week.
Probably too far.
Talking about relationships. Oh, yeah. Probably too far. I would say so, yes. Anyway, we talk a lot about relationships on the show, and this is why I say, final point on why it's business and personal. Everything you say about the Packers is true. But this is the personal part, and this is the disconnect between Brian Gutekunst, the general manager of the Packers, and Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers goes into the darkness retreat thinking, I'm going to have my time in the darkness, and then I'll be able to emerge and tell the Packers what I'm thinking. The Packers probably, it's a really good chance, they never communicated to Rodgers. As you go into this darkness retreat, we're going to be out here in the light, thinking about what's going to happen with you next. And as soon as you emerge, we may have a conversation, we may have a statement for you. And so he thought he had more time. This was just bad communication. And as you know, no relationship can survive if we're not aligned in our conversations. Hey, thank you for watching Brother from Another. If you haven't hit that subscribe button, go ahead and do that now. Don't forget, you can catch us 3 to 4 weekdays on PeacockTV.com and on Sirius XM Channel 85.